अगर आप 60s में हो और आप ये कहते हो कि मेरा 10 करोड़ का इक्विटी पोर्टफोलियो बन गया लेकिन मेरा घर नहीं है खुद का, so there is seriously a question mark that I would raise over there. Second thing is that if you have no vision on how you plan to provide for your family their needs, which means your children's education, marriages, your own retirement, you do not have any clarity on how you'll go about it, don't just buy a house for the sake of it. When you're on rent, you should be ready that at a moment's notice your landlord may call you and say, I'm giving you a month, I need to vacate the house. आपको पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर लेके हिलना है वहाँ से, विच मीन्स बेटे की स्कूल, योर फर्नीचर, योर मेड्स, everything changes the moment you shift a house. If you are a bachelor or a young couple, you feel that is easy, that's fine. But for most people with families, it becomes very difficult to just pick up everything lock, stock, barrel and move on.
Did you know that Indian women prefer real estate over stocks? Should you buy a real estate property? Is it a good investment? There are so many questions that we have, and there is free advice on internet that you should not buy a house. Is this advice applicable to everyone? To talk about all of this, I have a guest who knows a bit more about real estate. He's a friend. I welcome Mr. Abhijit More, who is a head of sales with a top real estate builder, who has over 2 decades of experience in selling real estate and who knows buyer behavior in depth. So I welcome you all to the next edition of This or That, and I welcome Mr. Abhijit More.
Thank you.
I want to start with the basic debate that is there on internet, which is घर खरीदना चाहिए नहीं खरीदना चाहिए, घर खरीदना बेकार इन्वेस्टमेंट है. तो व्हाट इज योर व्यू ऑन दिस?
ये डिपेंड करता है कि सवाल कौन पूछ रहा है और घर कौन खरीदना चाहता है. What I find very surprising is that with the advent of internet, suddenly real estate seems to have been the target for a lot of people who have access to be able to broadcast their content. Having said that, real estate is something which has been there since humankind has been into existence. So it, in my opinion, it's one of a very primal need to have a shelter. Sometimes I agree and sometimes I disagree. So I have a very balanced view, not because I'm in real estate, so I will say go all out and buy real estate. But if you are a person who's already quite leveraged, आपने काफ़ी होम लोन लेके रखे हुए हैं, काफ़ी पर्सनल लोन चल रहे हैं, उसके बाद आप कहते हो कि नहीं मैं और स्ट्रेच करूँगा और रियल एस्टेट लूँगा, that will be a very poor decision to make. Real estate as an additional asset class is definitely what I feel you should have. And also there is a very emotional consideration which people have when it comes to real estate. So it is not a very black and white decision. Unlike buying an equity or buying a mutual fund, buying a real estate is a very, very high involvement decision. Your whole family is involved. Your well-being is involved. Your access to office spaces is involved. Your whole purpose is involved. It depends on what life stage you're at. Are you just somebody who's passed out of college, got the first job, and are you looking at real estate? Or are you looking at expanding your family and then you're looking at... So to sum it up, what I feel is that there is no one particular answer to this. It completely depends on the individual. It completely depends on the need and the lifestyle of the individual. But just, you cannot just rule out real estate simply because there's a lot of noise around real estate nowadays. That's what I feel.
You're right. But real estate is expensive, so if I have some money to put up as an investment, it's easy. But when I go for real estate, I have to take a loan. Okay. And I think when generally people advise saying you should not buy real estate, it is in that respect that आपको loan लेना पड़ेगा. So what is your view? Is it wrong to take loans and people making bold statements that आप फंस जाते हो, फांसी का फंदा and all of that. So what is your view?
So लोन में कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं है. इशू ये है कि आप लोन के स्टेज पे ले रहे हो. लाइक आई सेड, इफ यू आर ऑलरेडी पेइंग 2 EMIs एंड यू आर स्ट्रगलिंग टू कीप द हाउस टुगेदर, देन यू सिंपली बिकॉज मुझे रियल एस्टेट खरीदना है, आप फिर डाइवर्सिफिकेशन में आके एक और घर खरीदते हो, जो कि मैंने देखा है. दैट्स इट्स अ बिग इशू टिपिकली विद द इंडियन मिडिल क्लास. इज समबडी हु अर्निंग से 70,000-80,000 पर मंथ ऑन एन एवरेज, ऑलरेडी एक गाँव में घर है, यहाँ पर पर्सनल लोन चल रहा है, कार लोन चल रहा है, फिर प्रेशर आ रहा है, फिर मुझे घर खरीदना है। तो आप ये देखें कि एंड में आप घर पे पैसा लेके जा रहे हो या नहीं लेके जा रहे हो। सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट आई फील that you should not just invest in real estate, you should have a balance across your portfolio, which means कि आपका इक्विटी में भी कुछ एक्सपोजर होना चाहिए, म्यूचुअल फंड्स में भी होना चाहिए, रियल एस्टेट में भी होना चाहिए. Putting all your eggs into real estate early on can be a big problem. Maybe eventually as you age, as your income grows and as you develop a basket of properties, it can actually work greatly in your favor, क्योंकि आप उतना कैपिटल तो बना ही चुके हो. उसके ऊपर आपका जो रेंटल इनकम है, you know, most of the people, I'm sure your audience is not the pension audience, you know, so to speak. So it can serve as a great asset to give you a steady flow of income, you know, when you hang your boots, when you are retired. That is also definitely a very big, you know, emotional security, mental security, which people find in real estate. Now, these things cannot be quantified. आप अगर आप मैं पूरा मार्केट में हूँ, जैसे आप देख रहे हो ऑफ लेट, यू सीन हाउ द मार्केट्स आर गोइंग डाउन. That's not happening with real estate. Real estate doesn't correct the way equity markets or mutual funds do it. Even if there are corrections, there have to be some strong outside influences which have to come in the industry as a whole. Then you will probably see some corrections, but I don't see कि आपने आज एक घर खरीदा 1 करोड़ का, कल वो बन गया 80 लाख का, परसों बन गया 50 लाख का. सो जो सिक्योरिटी आपको एक रियल एस्टेट दे पाता है मेंटली, अल्टीमेटली वी आर ऑल earning money, we are all putting money, we are all planning for growth. The end purpose is emotional security, which something like a real estate gives you. That's what I think.
So another thing that people say against real estate is liquidity नहीं होती है, ठीक है, बट अब लिक्विडिटी के लिए तो रियल एस्टेट नहीं खरीदते हो, राइट. एंड लिक्विडिटी की अगर हम बात करें तो अगर मार्केट गिर रहा है, आपके पास 1 करोड़ था, वो अगर 80 लाख हो गया है, you wouldn't sell, right? So you would want to comment on the liquidity aspect of the real estate.
So I feel if you are buying real estate from a point of view that tomorrow if you're in need of funds you will sell the house and raise funds, I think then there is some issue with the way you're planning your finances. That is not how you look at real estate. But to add on to your point, मेरा 1 करोड़ का एक इक्विटी पोर्टफोलियो बन चुका है, आज मार्केट टूट चुका है, 1 करोड़ का बन गया 70-80 लाख. आज मुझे अगर पैसे रेज करने की ज़रूरत पड़ी, आई विल सेल इट एट 70 lakhs and move on. If I own a house worth 1 crore rupees, I need to sell it desperately. Am I willing to sell the house at 70 lakhs today just to raise funds quickly? The answer is no. So the answer also lies in how people view real estate. When it comes to equity, they are willing to take the hit. But अगर मुझे रियल एस्टेट क्विकली टर्न अराउंड करना है, तो लोग कहते हैं नहीं, इसको तो मैं 1 करोड़ की चीज़ है, मैं 1 करोड़ 5 लाख, 1 करोड़ 10 लाख में कम से कम 90 लाख तो लेके जाऊंगा. Have the same mindset in real estate, you'll still be able to exit. If liquidity and urgency is the question.
तो अगर थोड़ी मैथ्स की बात करें तो रेंट एंड EMI, how do you balance that? Because if I talk about, I'm staying in Goregaon, and in last 5 years the rent has gone from 35,000 rupees for 2 BHK to 75,000. You know, wouldn't it make sense for me to put another 25,000 rupees and, you know, take a house? Or we can look at how rent can also be unpredictable. You know, you don't know what is going to be the rent after 15 years.
So specific to Goregaon that you mentioned, there were many factors which worked in favor of Goregaon for the rents to go up. You know, one of the largest commercial deals was signed in Goregaon, which kind of brought up the whole demand and drove the prices. There was Goregaon Mulund Link Road. But the person who really made money out of this were the people who owned properties and put them on rent. And the people who were probably staying on rent, yes, आपको HRA benefits मिल जाते हैं, ये सारी चीज़ें हैं. But जिसने प्रॉपर्टी खरीद के रखी थी and somebody was patient enough to hold it is probably making at least 7 to 8% yield had he bought the property around 15 to 20 years back. And that is a very secure investment. That is not going to correct by 30, 40, 50% overnight. Now, I'll probably counter that with another question. How long have you been in Goregaon?
15 years.
15 years. Can you take a wild guess कि आपको 2 BHK 15 साल पहले गोरेगांव में कितने का आता था?
I don't know, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs?
Correct. So 50 to 60 would have been a good budget. Now the same house is now worth roughly about 2 crores if you go to a decent enough development. 2.5 crore तक भी जाता है, बट आप मान के चलिए 1.80 से 2 crore के बीच में आपको आ जाएगा. तो आपने उतना रेंट भी दे दिया, आपका एसेट भी नहीं बना, and ultimately you're still in transition because you're not staying in your own house. And this is may not be the mistake, but this is a situation in which most people end up because they overthink the home buying decision. By now you would have probably closed your first loan, upgraded to a larger property, and maybe had 2 assets, correct? Maybe put one on rent, own the other. Your options could have been many. And the house in which you stay, ultimately you forget कि उसका भी एक capital value है. आप जिस घर में रहते हो, definitely it's not for sale, but it holds a capital value of 1.5 to 2 crores, which goes up over time. So rent is, I'm not saying that rent is bad. I would say rent is desirable for somebody. आप दूसरे शहर में रहते हो, आप मुंबई या पुणे या बैंगलोर आए हो, आपको पता है कि आप 2-3 साल से ज़्यादा यहाँ नहीं रहने वाले हो. Makes a lot of sense. There's no point buying or getting stuck over there unless you really see कि हाँ ये जगह में आगे प्राइस बढ़ने वाली है. But when you need a house and you still say no, financially as per my Excel sheet I should not buy a house, I think that's a very silly decision to make.
It cannot be an Excel decision. No? Then there are a lot of things. Then you've put having kids and expenses of the kid also. You should not have a kid also.
I agree with.
So you mentioned earlier that it depends on the life stage. So what makes sense? Putting up money and buying house at really early stage of your career and pay the home loan, and you're ready, say by 35-40 you own the house, or you say you accumulate the coppers, then make the down payment, and what makes more sense?
See, if you're already staying with your parents, you have a good house, you may not need to buy the house very early on in your career. Then it'll, because you have time on your hands, probably at that point in time equity would make a lot more sense क्योंकि आप उतना, you get those additional 10 years or 15 years of holding. Or ultimately when you plan to as your jobs change, as your income increases, as your family expands, it would make sense if you need it. Worst case, there is always the option to invest. आप इन्वेस्टमेंट, लाइक आई सेड, आपने एक इक्विटी का पोर्टफोलियो बना दिया, 100% इक्विटी में चले गए, एंड इट विल बिकम एक्सट्रीमली अ बम्पी राइड along with the market. When it's going well, it will go very, very well. When it goes down, it literally nosedives. You could actually go into negative returns in no time. So that's where, if you're at a stage where you have a secure hope, आपको अर्जेंसी नहीं है घर खरीदने की, मेरा ये अप्रोच रहेगा कि थोड़ा इक्विटी में शुरुआत कर लूँ, एक वहाँ पर कॉर्पस बनाओ. Parallelly, I start saving for a down payment, and then I go for a home. If you are somebody who really needs a house from day one, it will make sense to start saving your money. There are lots of people who are from the middle class, lower middle class, जिनका घर ही 1 room का रहता है. उनको अगर लेना है तो लेना है, फिर उसमें कोई बात नहीं है.
So basically it is not fixed solution. It depends on,
it's a extremely customized solution. But just a thought here is that if real estate really didn't make sense, then why do you see so many businessmen, so many actors, celebrities taking an exposure to the asset class in the first place? And these are not small exposures. Most of them are record-breaking deals to which these guys, who probably have a lot more access to information than you and I do, why do they go into real estate? They definitely see some value to real estate. And that value is not necessarily again the Excel sheet. There is prestige, there is security, emotional security, financial security. When you're on rent, you should be ready that at a moment's notice, your landlord may call you and say, I'm giving you a month, I need to vacate the house. आपको पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर लेके हिलना है वहाँ से, which means बेटे की स्कूल, your furniture, your maids, everything changes the moment you shift a house. If you are a bachelor or a young couple, you feel that is easy, that's fine. But for most people with families, it becomes very difficult to just pick up everything lock, stock, barrel and move on.
It will become more difficult if you're older, right? If you're in 60s, 70s, at that point in time, if you say I don't have a house, it will become more difficult.
अगर आप 60s में हो और आप ये कहते हो कि मेरा 10 करोड़ का इक्विटी पोर्टफोलियो बन गया लेकिन मेरा घर नहीं है खुद का, तो so there is seriously a question mark that I would raise over there.
Abhijit, I want to look at real estate as an investment. Tell me about it.
So first of all, stop looking at real estate just as a residential real estate. There are many other forms of real estate as well. So first thing you need to do is figure out which form of real estate do you want to invest in. Which one do you understand? Real estate can mean land. It can mean an apartment. It could mean commercial real estate. It could mean retail real estate. It could mean REITs, REITs. तो आप पहले ये देखिए कि आपको कौन सा रियल एस्टेट समझ में आता है. Now, once you've decided, then depending on which asset class you understand within real estate, टिपिकली आप घर खरीदते हो अप्रिसिएशन के लिए. आप रेसिडेंशियल रियल एस्टेट में अगर यील्ड गिनने लग गए तो दैट इज अ रॉन्ग अप्रोच टू रेसिडेंशियल रियल एस्टेट इन माय ओपिनियन, because no matter what you do, you cannot surpass 2.5 to 3% yield in residential real estate. If you're chasing yields, then you should look at commercial real estate. Okay? Residential real estate typically आप लेते हो appreciation के लिए. Commercial real estate आप typically लेते हो stable returns के लिए. Within commercial also, whether you are buying a small shop, which is a road frontage, or are you buying a grade A commercial property, say in a top mall, accordingly the person to whom you rent out the property will differ, the tenant profile will differ. So आप रियल एस्टेट को सिर्फ मैं रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ तो मैं घर खरीदूंगा मे नॉट ऑलवेज बी द आंसर. आप डे वन से अगर इनकम देखना चाहते हो तो कमर्शियल और रिटेल वुड प्रॉब्ली बी अ बेटर ऑप्शन. If you are looking at decent returns but long-term appreciation, residential would make a lot more sense. अगर आपने एक स्टेप और जाके थोड़ा होमवर्क किया हुआ है and you are able to figure out कि okay there is infrastructure developments which is anticipated in XYZ area, it would make a lot of more sense to buy land in that particular area. If I want to expose myself to real estate but I don't have the kitty which is required to purchase real estate, maybe REITs to some extent could be a better option even for diversification and at the same time taking an exposure to real estate. तो आपको पहले ये जानना है कि what do I plan to achieve out of my investment, and then it makes a lot more sense to purchase real estate.
So buying real estate may also differ in a metro versus a smaller town. What is your view in terms of appreciation, in terms of, say, one is I am staying in metro, then I don't have an option if I'm buying it for myself. But if I purely look at it as an investment between a metro and a smaller city, how should I look at it?
See, purely from an investment perspective, obviously a metro would make sense if you plan to buy there, because it becomes that much more easy to rent it out. The access to facilities like common maintenance, security, etc., those factors are much better in the metro. But if you belong to a particular tier 2 city and eventually you want to go back to that city after 15-20 years, it would make a lot more sense to purchase some property over there and let it appreciate over a period of time, and then maybe decide after you retire on what you want to do. Purely personal call, but I would feel agar apple to apple compare karna hai, keeping all the other factors aside, I would still say go in a metro, because there are many more favors, many more elements which work in your favor. One is the professionalism of the developers, professionalism of the broker network, access to amenities, security, all these, and the ease of renting out the property as well.
So what we can conclude is that it cannot be a blanket white thing, that nahi kharidna chahiye. There's so many layers to the investment process, where you're buying and all of that.
Yeah, and that's what makes it unique. आप इसमें फिल्टर नहीं लगा सकते हो जैसे आप इक्विटी में करते हो. करेक्ट. आप मार्केट कैप देखते हो, आप रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी देखते हो, 4-5 चीज़ें देखते हो, फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स देखते हो, फिर देन यू अराइव एट एन आंसर दैट ओके दिस इक्विटी मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस, इट इज़ बेटर वैल्यूड. You cannot apply such filters on real estate, black and white. It is highly personalized. I might like the sea view, you might find it as a dead view. You might prefer the mountain or a green view. In fact, I'll tell you a funny thing. As people age, they prefer a live view. They would prefer a street view because they don't like to see dead views. They would not look at a mountain, but they would look at a road. Because you are at the cycle where you want to look at people. You want to see people. You want to see movement. तो अगर मैं उस आदमी को भी यही बोलूँ कि आप एक 30 साल के आदमी जैसे सोच के रियल एस्टेट खरीदो, it will not make sense. It's highly customized.
तो ठीक है अभिजीत, हमने डिसाइड कर लिया कि हम घर खरीद रहे हैं. सो एज अ फर्स्ट टाइम buyer, what are the mistakes that people do and what is it they should look for?
So as a first time buyer I would say before you आप इससे पहले कि आप चेक काटो डेवलपर के सामने, कुछ बेसिक चीज़ें करो. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इफ़ यू आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन अ होम लोन, फिगर आउट कि आपकी एलिजिबिलिटी कितनी है. आप चेक देने के बाद, बैंक होने के बाद फिर आप बताओगे कि मेरी एलिजिबिलिटी नहीं है और इंक्रीजिंग द हैसल फॉर योरसेल्फ फर्स्ट. So first would be bank eligibility. I would go one step further and see which are the banks which are willing to fund for that particular project. Because if some of the top banks are not funding the project, it raises a red flag for me. For me personally, it's a no-go. Because these large banks have a very good due diligence mechanism. And because there has been something which didn't add up, maybe because of that the bank chose to stay away. So अगर मुझे कोई बड़ी बैंक फंडिंग कर रही है उस प्रोजेक्ट में, वो मुझे एक एडिशनल लेयर ऑफ सिक्योरिटी देता है. हो सकता है मैं कोई छोटी बैंक से ले लूँ, बट आई नीड टू नो दैट दीज लार्जर बैंक्स आर आउट देयर टू फंड द प्रोजेक्ट. One more thing is the due diligence part as far as the property is concerned. In fact, as we speak, it becomes more and more easier to do due diligence nowadays because of the RERA coming in. आपको लिटरली पूरे प्रोजेक्ट की जन्म कुंडली ऑनलाइन मिल जाती है
On the RERA website.
ऑन द रेरा वेबसाइट. ना उसमें गलती ये होती है कि हमने सिर्फ रेरा नंबर देख लिया आपके, तो प्रोजेक्ट इज रेरा सर्टिफाइड, नो प्रॉब्लम. बट रेरा इज ओनली पुटिंग अक्रॉस द फैक्ट्स ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट टू यू, विच मीन्स यू नीड टू लॉग इन टू द रेरा वेबसाइट, पुट इन द रेरा नंबर, गो इनसाइड द प्रोजेक्ट और एक नज़र मार लीजिए. उसमें लिटिगेशंस का भी एक सेक्शन होता है, नेचर ऑफ लिटिगेशंस देख लीजिए, लॉ ऑफ टाइटल पे आप नज़र मार लीजिए. एंड इफ दैट इज़ नॉट योर एक्सपर्टीज, आप इतनी बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी खरीद रहे हो, हायर एन एक्सपर्ट. आप मिनिमम आज मेट्रो में 1 करोड़ का तो आप, मैं मान के चल रहा हूँ, हम लोग परचेस करेंगे. 1 करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टी ले रहे हैं, लेकिन हमको लाख रुपए बचाने हैं एडवोकेट के. सो दैट इज़ अ वेरी पेनी वाइज पाउंड फुलिश अप्रोच. यू आर मेकिंग द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन ऑफ योर लाइफ एंड कटिंग कॉर्नर्स ऑन दीज सर्विसेज इज डेफिनेटली नॉट एडवाइजेबल. आपको नहीं समझ में आता है, कोई बात नहीं, इसलिए सामने वाले ने पढ़ाई की है उस चीज़ की, ताकि वो आपको पूरा होमवर्क करके बता दे कि ये 2-3 चीज़ों से बच के रहना. There are these minor issues, but we can overlook those. So I see people trying to cut costs over there. I see people reluctant to hire good real estate brokers because उनको वो 2% बचाना होता है. यहाँ पर 98% आपने डाल दिया इक्विटी, उसके ऊपर आपको 2% बचाना है. अब जो आदमी उस मार्केट में पिछले 20-30 सालों से दुकान खोल के बैठा है, he probably knows 10 things more than you do about a particular locality. So there is of course no harm in engaging brokers, viewing properties through brokers, engaging technical guys like legal experts who have a look at your documentation. All these costs would roughly add up to another 2.5 to 3% to your overall cost. In fact, nowadays अगर आप डेवलपर से प्रॉपर्टी खरीदते हो तो ब्रोकर आपको चार्ज भी नहीं करता. So the service comes free to you. So don't think the guy is out there for his own profession. You see कि मुझे मेरा घर मिल रहा है, I'm getting the service, and don't count all those expenses according to me, because those expenses, if you incur today, will give you a lot more security, will save a lot of heartburn for you in the future. So obviously the second thing would be RERA. One thing which I find people lacking is that I have identified a locality, I have identified where I want to purchase the building. What I would definitely do is that I would drive down in the locality in the morning, afternoon, evening, and in the night. Because you might go on a Sunday morning to purchase a property when everything is superb. You go there on a Monday and you'll probably get stuck in the traffic jam for 20 minutes outside the property. तो मैं प्रॉपर्टी को 3 से 4 अलग अलग एंगल से एक्सपीरियंस करूँगा. रात को इज द प्रॉपर्टी सेफ फॉर माई फैमिली, ये चीज़ मैं डेफिनेटली देखूंगा. सो प्राइस ऑब्वियसली इज वन ऑफ द फैक्टर्स, बट देर आर मेनी अदर फैक्टर्स दैट यू नीड टू लुक एट before you finalize the pricing of the property. One more thing which I have seen people do is that they rush into the decision simply because they are pushed to make that decision on the table. मैं आज ही आया हूँ, मैंने फर्स्ट टाइम आपके डेवलपर के ऑफिस में एंटर किया है, बंदा मुझे बोल रहा है सर आज आप चेक दीजिए, मैं आपको XYZ
बंद कर देते हैं आपको रूम में, आप मेक द डिसीजंस, आपको बंद कर देते हैं, सर आप चेक फाड़ दीजिए, अभी आपको ये डील मिल रही है.
सो उस बंदे की मैं तारीफ करूँगा, बट as a it may not be the most prudent decision unless You know for a fact that this is the project you always wanted to invest. This is the locality where you always wanted. When you are very absolutely sure that this is what I want, please go ahead and take that decision. But don't rush yourself into the decision. It is real estate. There is enough and more available. Okay, आप ये घर खरीद, चलो ठीक है, आज ये घर चला रहेगा, उसके ऊपर का माला है, नीचे का माला तो होगा ही कम से कम. सो डोंट रश इनटू दोस डिसीजंस, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली आपने वहाँ पर डिसीजन ले लिया, फिर आप घर जाके कैलकुलेट कर रहे हो. इट शुड वर्क द अदर वे अराउंड. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द मोस्ट कॉमन मिस्टेक्स विच आई सी पीपल डू. आप पूरा सोच के आइए, फिर डिसीजन लीजिए. आप डिसीजन लेके सोचेंगे तो फिर हमेशा कहीं ना कहीं अटक जाएंगे.
So how do I check the builder and the project? Other than RERA, if I want to find out more about the project and the builder, where can I get it?
दैट्स वेयर टॉकिंग टू पीपल हेल्प्स ऑनेस्टली.
Mm-hmm.
आप एक पर्टिकुलर विसिनिटी के बारे में बहुत कुछ जान सकते हो, जहाँ पे मैंने आपको बोला प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज ऑलवेज हेल्प.
So when you say professional services, you're talking about brokers?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
आई एम.
क्या?
बिकॉज जो इनसाइट आपको ब्रोकर दे सकता है वो बहुत कम लोग दे पाते हैं.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. बाकी everything else is hearsay. Nothing stops you. For example, if you're buying a resale property, nothing stops you from approaching the building, approaching some members, asking them how are things. Is there any issue? Is there a waterlogging issue, for example? Correct. So nothing stops you from inquiring around. I don't know why people are shy to do that, but it's just an extra layer to your purchase. Correct. आप डिसीजन ले रहे हो तो उसमें शर्माने की कोई बात नहीं है. पूछ लीजिए. पूछने से ही आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन आएगा. No developer will put it out there and say that my society has a waterlogging problem. Correct. वो homework आपका है, वो buyer भी है. Correct. So please do your homework. Ask around. Take 1 week extra to make that decision. Don't rush into it. But be absolutely sure that this is where I want to be. काफ़ी लोगों के लिए from a purchase perspective gentry भी बहुत matter करती है. If you are the sort of a person who has that, then please आप पहले homework कर लीजिए. I will not get into whether that is right or wrong. That's a very, very individual choice. But instead of purchasing and later finding out, it's a part of your original due diligence that you need to do. Certain communities, they require temples in the vicinity because they walk every day to those temples barefoot. उनके लिए वो no go decision है. तो आप अपना homework वैसे कर लीजिए. कोई हर चीज़ आपको इंटरनेट पे तो नहीं मिलेगी. You will have to get on the ground, ask around and do your homework.
See, I wanted to check how to verify if the property title is legally clear. You know, is it available on RERA or?
Unless you've studied law, I would suggest don't get into that space.
So how do I verify that?
Please engage a legal expert for that.
Okay.
Because आप एक प्रॉपर्टी टाइटल पढ़ने जाओगे तो इट विल डेट बैक 30, 40, 50 ईयर्स बिहाइंड. हो सकता है किसी पॉइंट पे वो प्रॉपर्टी का नेचर चेंज किया होगा. कलेक्टर लैंड थी, फिर फ्री होल्ड हो गई, फिर ये हो गई, फिर वो हो गई. हो सकता है किसी टाइम पर वहाँ पर रिजर्वेशन था जो हटाया गया. तो ये सारी बहुत टेक्निकल चीज़ें होती है जो एक कॉमन मैन को नहीं समझ में आती. इट मेक्स अ लॉट मोर सेंस टू एंगेज अ लीगल एक्सपर्ट टू डू दैट बिट फुल. आई वुड पर्सनली नॉट ब्रेक माई, डिस्पाइट बीइंग इन द सेक्टर, आई वुड नॉट ब्रेक माई हेड ओवर इट. I would rather pay somebody money to do that work for me and live peacefully.
So Abhijit, I've been to properties to purchase, and builder typically tells multiple payment plans. So could you talk a bit about it? What are different payment options that people have for purchasing a property?
Okay, so I will start off with what is a payment plan in the first place. Assume a situation where the property is getting ready in another 6 months to a year. Now, typically when the possession is so near, the developer expects you to pay around close to 90 to 95% because the work has already progressed significantly. Structure ready ho chuka hai, finishing is in progress. So there is a heavy upfront payment which is expected out of buyers. Now there are two situations. One is that the buyer does not have such a heavy payment ready to be paid in the next 45 to 60 days. तो वो एक situation हो गया. Second situation ये है कि buyer का already एक rent शुरू है. अगर वो यहाँ पर 80, 85, 90% फंडिंग हो जाती है तो उसका EMI भी शुरू हो जाएगा, रेंट भी शुरू हो जाएगा, which will be a pinch to the buyer. So what the developer says in this case is, I'll work out a payment plan for you. आप मुझे बस 20% अभी दे दो. When I hand over the keys to you after OC, you pay me the balance 80%. So that is called a typical 20-80 plan. Similarly, there are other plans which is for a property whose construction is say 3 to 4 years away. A developer might introduce bullet payment plan. 4 साल में आप बस मुझे 25 साल में एक बार दे देना. Okay. Now these are the different options which the buyer has. What they need to know is that द डेवलपर डजंट गिव यू द पेमेंट प्लान फॉर फ्री. जो पैसा उसे आज आना है वो अगर उसे 6 महीने बाद या 1 साल बाद आ रहा है तो इंटरेस्ट आप पर लोड होगा.
Okay.
If you're in a position to make that sort of payment, it makes sense to make that sort of payment 80-90% whatever it is, if you're in a position, because otherwise the interest gets loaded into your cost. So अगर डेवलपर आपको पेमेंट प्लान दे रहा है तो आप दूसरा ऑप्शन भी इवैल्यूएट कर दीजिए. ये कह के कि मुझे पेमेंट प्लान नहीं चाहिए, I will go by a normal 80-90%. Weigh the pros and cons. See how the cost works out for you. Don't rule out that option, or don't just chase the payment plan over there. So what you need to remember is that the payment plan doesn't come free to anyone. The cost is eventually loaded. So if your finances allow, please make the payment as per the construction milestone. Take advantage of the discount. If you already have some other constraints like rent, or if you don't have the money upfront, for example, you are expecting your some fixed deposits to get matured in another 6 months, or there is a sale of property which is associated to this particular payment, makes sense to go for a payment plan.
You mentioned that property gets ready for some time. So the question that comes to me is that, does it make sense to buy a ready to move in property, or it's okay to wait? And how does the finances work out there?
See, again, it depends on how soon you need a property. There are some people who say कि I burned my fingers enough, or I've seen people burning their fingers enough. मैं पैसे दूंगा, मुझे चाबी दे दीजिए. Nothing wrong with that. But what you also need to know is that if you invest early on in the property, it typically comes at an X% discount to the market. So the cost is not fully built up in an under construction property as per the market. Generally 7, 8, 10% it is below the market, depending on the builder, depending on the size of the project. आपके नीड पे है, आपको आज घर चाहिए और मेरा घर चाहिए, तो प्लीज़ पैसे दे दीजिए, घर ले लीजिए. If you can wait, if the property is shaping up really well, if it's a promised complex which is coming up in a very, very good thing, it makes sense to enter early and take advantage of the appreciation over a period of time.
So how does the finance work? So if I'm taking a property now, which will be ready after 4 years, and I'm paying that, I've taken a loan now 4 years before, right? Versus I pay. So if let's say in 4 years the property prices have increased, but I am paying after 4 years, right? Not now, which makes more sense in terms of purely how much I'm paying. Do I end up pay more when I take a ready to move in property, or I pay more when I?
No, you end up paying more upfront when you are buying a ready to move in property.
Okay.
So आपका जो EMI है वो immediately show हो जाएगा on 80-90% of the property whatever you go for. उसका एडवांटेज ये है कि आपके EMI में day 1 से प्रिंसिपल कटना शुरू हो जाता है.
Okay.
Whereas if you buy an under construction property, your initial outflow will be much lesser, because as the bank keeps on disbursing along with the progress of the property, आपका EMI वैसे बढ़ते जाएगा. बट वो EMI नहीं होता, वो प्री EMI होता है.
Okay.
It only covers the interest part. The principal part gets deducted after the possession is handed over to you. So in that sense, if you live out through the full tenure of the loan, an under construction property will be more expensive than a ready property for you, because there is first the pre-EMI part and then the EMI part.
आपको घर भी नहीं मिला, आप इंटरेस्ट भी दे रहे हो.
आप इंटरेस्ट दे. बट ये है कि टुडे इट इज़ वेरी इजी ऑन योर पॉकेट, बिकॉज मान लो मैंने आज 10% अपफ्रंट दे दिया, फिर डेवलपर का 5% का डिमांड आ गया जो बैंक ने दे दिया, तो मुझे जो प्री EMI देना है उसे वो 5% पे देना. Versus if I consider, again going back to a 1 crore sort of a home, if I buy it ready possession and the bank is funding 80%, 80 lakh का EMI would be around 65-70,000 per month. So today if I can afford that sort of an EMI, no problem. If I don't have that sort of money, I am relying on my future growth or future prospects, makes sense to go for under construction property.
So talking about EMI, what will be my EMI eligibility basis my income? What kind of EMI can I afford?
So I'll give you a thumb rule. It obviously differs from bank to bank. It differs from bank to NBFC. मान लो आप लाख रुपया कमा रहे हो, वो लाख रुपए में सिचुएशन 1 आपके कोई भी अदर लाइबिलिटीज नहीं है. यू डू नॉट हैव अ कार लोन, पर्सनल लोन, एटसेट्रा. सो व्हाट द बैंक वुड से इज दैट आई वुड अज्यूम दैट यू शुड कंफर्टेबली पे मी एटलीस्ट 55-60% of your income towards the loan, because you will need the balance towards running your house. तो थंब रूल ये है कि लाख रुपए का पगार है तो आपको 55 से 60 लाख रुपए के आसपास का आप EMI अफोर्ड कर सकते हो.
Okay.
what that translates to roughly say 65 to 70 lakhs, just thumb rule wise. So that is the sort of eligibility. तो बैंक हमेशा ये देखेगी कि आपकी सैलरी कितनी है, उसमें से लाइबिलिटीज हटा के आपकी कितनी बचती है, उसमें से 55 to 60% towards the pre-EMI. That is the ballpark on which people can do a rough calculation. Now, I know case to case there are people who would go an extra mile and who would say सर 70% करवा दूंगा, 80% करवा दूंगा. फंडिंग हो भी जाती है बट बाद में बहुत दिक्कत आती है, क्योंकि अगर वो घर खरीदने के एक्साइटमेंट में ये नहीं सोचते कि मुझे बच्चे की स्कूल फीस भी देनी है, घर भी चलाना है. There are many other considerations. So you end up compromising a lot on those fronts.
So Abhijit, who should not buy a house? So we'll stick to this advice that is going on, don't buy a house. Who should not buy a house?
I think the people who should avoid buying a house is one, people who are already over leveraged with a lot of personal loans, this loan, that loan. Definitely no, because it's a big commitment to have. Second thing is that if you have no vision on how you plan to provide for your family their needs, which means your children's education, marriages, your own retirement, you do not have any clarity on how you'll go about it, don't just buy a house for the sake of it. It's better you see a planner first, a financial planner first, who will advise you how can you carve out money for every single investment that you make, including the house. So clearly, just buying a house because everybody is buying a house, or not buying a house because I've been asked not to buy a house, doesn't make any sense. It's a very, very customized answer depending on where you are, at what life cycle you are, how much have you provided for your future.
So Abhijit, with respect to the home loan, that's a pertinent question. Should I prepay the home loan or should continue to for the entire tenure of the loan?
So home loan, it doesn't make sense to continue for the entire tenure of the home loan because it ends up being very, very expensive. But having said that, I think the Indian mindset is really, we don't like too many liabilities on our heads. If you look at data, by and large in India, the average time taken to close a home loan is around 7 to 8 years on average, which I think is a good time frame to have. You should not rush into closing a home loan as well, because if you are able to take advantages from the income tax perspective on your principal and interest, you should definitely continue that. But a good situation is always कि मैंने अपना होम लोन कंट्रोल में ले आया, अब मैं कहीं और इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, मैं चाहूँ तो आज उसको क्लोज कर सकता हूँ. बट आई एम रादर टेकिंग एडवांटेज से ऑफ एन इक्विटी साइकिल विच इज टुडे अंडरवैल्यूड. That will make a lot more sense. It will give you a lot more comfort also. So there's no point just rushing into closing the home loan. Thoda part is good. If you are servicing that, it is making sure that you get income tax advantages out of that. It makes a lot of sense to continue that home loan, but within your control.
Should we buy home insurance along with the home loan?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. There are, if you're buying a home loan, आप होम इंश्योरेंस भी ले सकते हो जिसमें it protects you against theft, burglary, etc. There is another sort of insurance which is if you happen to lose your job, then you don't have to pay any EMI for the next 6 months until you find a job. If you can, because ये सारी additional costs don't add too much to your loan. Maximum 500 to 1,000 bucks. But again, आपको एक additional layer of security मिल जाती है against such eventualities which God forbid shouldn't happen, but if they happen, you are protected well enough. So definitely, if you can, please go for the insurance part of the home loan.
So in this entire purchase of house, are there any hidden charges that people don't know about and should be aware of while buying?
Hidden charges होते हैं, but ऐसा नहीं कि आप उनका पता नहीं कर सकते. For example, if you are buying a resale property, please discuss the fees that your broker will charge from you if you are going through a broker. One. If you are buying an under construction property, एक तो होती है आपकी agreement value, which is the money that you pay towards the house, which includes the car park, etc., etc. उसके अलावा there are some other charges which you are generally expected to pay on possession.
Okay.
For example, they could be towards clubhouse development. They could be towards advanced maintenance of the society. There could be some infrastructure charges. They could be your water connection, electricity charges, gas connection. ये सारे charges होते हैं. ये टिपिकली आपको ऊपर कॉस्ट शीट में ही दिखेंगे लेकिन अलग से दिखेंगे. तो हमेशा डिटेल में आपके सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से बात करना कि इसके अलावा और क्या क्या मुझे भरना है. तो राइट टिल द last amount that you will pay, you can definitely get a bifurcation out of the developer and understand कि आपके exactly क्या क्या खर्चे हैं. But other charges sometimes people tend to miss, comes as a shocker for you. If you are availing for a home loan, then there is a stamp duty which is applicable on a home loan and there are processing fees which are applicable on a home loan. ये दोनों charges भी customers बोलते हैं ये कहाँ से आ गया. So these are some of the charges which which are applicable, which are not upfront or not as evident as an agreement value is, but there are many such other charges which you need to be aware of.
Abhijit, so then tell me, what is the total cost of buying a property? Every element that people should consider.
So I will explain the various parameters or various components of the purchase. The first thing is the agreement value. What does the agreement value mean? It means the cost towards the house, which includes your floor rise, PLC, which is your preferred view charges, etc. It includes your car parking amount. That is called the agreement value. Agreement value के ऊपर से derive होता है stamp duty amount, okay, which is, say for example, Maharashtra में it is 6%, okay. So उसके बाद आता है stamp duty, which is a function of the agreement value. Then there are standard registration charges, which is about 30,000 odd in Maharashtra. तो आपका agreement value हो गया, stamp duty हो गया, registration हो गया. उसके बाद आता है आपका GST. So GST का ऐसा है कि it's typically 5% of the agreement value, but most of the people fail to factor in that the GST needs to go out of pocket with every installment. It is not covered in your home loans in most cases. Okay. So GST is one of the factors which every installment you need to pay out of pocket.
So are we saying that if my EMI is say 80,000 rupees, it will be 80,000 plus GST?
No. So it will be, for example, if your demand which is raised by the developer is say worth 5 lakh rupees, it will be 5 lakh rupees plus GST. That is how it will be. So क्या स्टेज पे हो अकॉर्डिंगली आपका GST कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा उस पर्टिकुलर डिमांड को लेकर.
Okay. So you said agreement value, stamp duty, and registration charge.
Then there is the GST charges. And then there are other charges which I mentioned earlier, which are payable on possession, which could be your clubhouse charges, infra charges, advance maintenance if any, society formation charges, electric charges, water meter charges, etc. So they are all a part of the cost sheet. These are also typically not funded by the bank.
Okay.
And they need to be provisioned for by the buyer.
Okay. So Abhijit, as a concluding remark, I want to understand, you have been selling real estate for almost 2 decades. Have you met anybody who has regretted buying a real estate properties?
I have met people who have regretted buying real estate. I have met people who have regretted not buying real estate. And the same thing applies for all asset classes. I have personally lost a lot of money in equity because I didn't do my homework well. So to look at real estate in isolation and say, did somebody regret or not regret? I think the answer is very standard, just like any other asset class. The people who got on the bus at the right time made a lot of money. People who missed the bus have regretted it. People who over leveraged, I have seen them regret the decision a lot. People who didn't do proper homework did regret making the decision a lot. But nowadays, after RERA coming in, I think those incidences are going down where, developers would just shut shop or run away with your money. So we are seeing that coming into that factor being controlled a lot nowadays. So yeah, just like any other asset class, so is real estate. People have regretted, people have enjoyed, they made fortunes, they made generational wealth out of real estate as well.
So it's safe to say it's not a plain simple decision. You have to look at your own context. You have to understand where you are in your lifestyle, where you are at your life stage, and then make a decision and do your homework.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Abhijit. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.